era niggas just scream out gang gang. My era niggas outside that gang bang. Old enough to know niggas that made it onto gangland. I don't say that to grandstand, I'm just spitting the facts, man. New rappers too busy just making sing-alongs. My raps will have it going savage like the Viacom. You don't want the smoke, homie, then your weed is strong. Good to see you smoke along to that Cheech and Chong. Me and my team, we on the front line. Steady putting in work, homie, it's always crunch time. Hard times produce me, dog. This ain't a movie, it ain't WWE. When I mention the bloodline, homie, I want mine, that's why I move different. Y'all too laxy daisy, I keep myself disciplined. Repetition on repetition, training is rigorous. Only way to survive the streets that's dangerous and vigorous. Behavior villainous, leave no traces of witnesses. Moment of silence for the taking of all our innocence. Now back to business, somewhat of a practitioner. Cause there's no shortcuts in life, no pills that make you limitless. That's ridiculous, far set from reality, like who's that's licorice. Frame of thought is insanity, causing calamity if you actually watching and listening. Home to catching out from the dudes that started visiting. How you missing it? Losing profits and dividends. The way your boys been cooking, they need to give me a Michelin. The bliss is ignorance, they don't like to mention them. They say we don't mention the bodies that's in Lake Michigan. Fucking hypocrites, I separate from the fakes. Run with a pride of lines, identify all the stakes. Hubris as they folly and catch on other mistakes. Matter time before they're just another body that's in the lake. Navigate, these troubled waters won't choose my fate. My vision is too ambition like Alexander the Great. Say there's much on my plate, but I carry my weight. Figuratively and literally, for all those who can relate. I never break, you never get me to fold. You never get me to leave, Chicago is still my home. But I carry my heat, this windy city is cold. Valentine's Day massacre, but was it really Capone? Face blown out of proportion, the different views of contortion. Use best proceed with precaution before you lie dead in a coffin. It's not a threat, that's a promise. Best quit talking your nonsense, your body could end up missing. Got your family claiming we lost them. Can't find them, bad timing, he's flatlining. Good riddance, bit a net negative to mankind. And I'm like Jack Reacher, the equalizer, John Wick, Jason Bourne, the accountant. Either one, you could take your pick. The damage I could do with my side weapon. John Wick with my P40 Smith & Wesson. Opposition lightweight, so I'm not threatened. I'm just glad about the hate that they keep sending. It's really easy talk that rah-rah on the internet. There's words to Zaza, I heard y'all ain't got your fingers wet. Don't get your cherry pop by the very op. We bust the real ones, got the heavy guap, you just carry prop. Bunch of these gangsters claim to be hard to the core, but they really not like women that claim to be faithful. But they really thought, act like they down, but when shit goes down, they call the city cops. Same fools think they know a lot, no dilly squad. Tired of all of this fake shit, with fake asses and fake tits. They fake smiles, but fake lips. Picasso looking with their facelift. What I call the good replacement, with the so-called real are the fakest. So the fakest niggas are the greatest. What was common sense no longer makes sense. What was common sense is now rare sense. What was funny then is now flagrant. Living in your thoughts, I don't pay rent. I take my time, you lack patience. Then your blood drip on the pavement. With a headshot, got your brainless. After getting hit with that stainless, kill instinct, call me Craven.
We going up, shit going down. We lighting them up, you best hit the ground. Shooting them up, one after round. When that blood in the air, you better not dare to come around town. Father, please forgive me, have mercy on my soul. Fools keep trying to test me and I will never fold. It's the way that Wendy raised me, the city of the gold. Load them up and let them go, load them up and let them go. Load them up and let them fly.
Yo, what it do? It's your boy, El Divino Vega. This is the Chop Shop. We are here, man. I just finished seeing that Mortal Kombat movie, so I'm kind of... Yo, that movie goes hard. I mean, like... And look, just keeping it a buck, right? Like, that... The first Mortal Kombat movie was okay. It was decent, right? Like it was there's definitely great qualities about it, but then there's obviously things that aren't so great qualities about it, right? Um, and if I'm gonna just be blunt about how my biggest critique about the first one, if there's a bad one, I kind of just didn't like the story surrounding this new character they kind of created, at least to my knowledge, right? Like out of all the Mortal Kombat I've ever watched, I don't recall that character. I forget his name right now. It's kind of eluding me. But essentially, he plays Scorpion's son in the movie. Um, and I'll tell you right now, actually, boom, here we go. Cole Young was apparently the character's name, right, in the movie, and he's supposed to be like, or no, he's not Scorpion's son, but he's like a descendant of Scorpion, right, like from Scorpion's lineage. And like I said, I didn't really like that character too much. Like, again, he's not a character that I know from Mortal Kombat, so I thought that was kind of just silly, I guess you could say, to I don't know, do that, but whatever. They went with it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Personally, just I didn't like it. They kind of, and maybe this is new to me, but I mean, the reality is that I haven't played every Mortal Kombat game, but I played quite a few to know that there's, the main character is the main character. You know what I mean? And they definitely shy away from that this time around, as a whole, which I think maybe works better for them. I don't, or how do I explain it? It's kind of hard to explain. It's almost like you actually feel the game. I guess it feels like the game more than anything, because even when you're playing the game, even the game changed. The way they play the game changed, right? Like, essentially, you follow the story, and as you follow the story per story, it changes the character you play as, right, in the story arc, right? If you've ever played any Mortal Kombat game, at least the newer ones, right? Can't really recall. I'd be lying if I said I can recall how the first one went, or like the originals go. I remember playing the originals mostly was like me playing against, like, my brother, cousins, friends, brother-in-laws, whatever. Like, just that was like my introduction to Mortal Kombat, right? So I can't really say I ever played back then the storyline, and I don't really remember. And even from what I do remember, I felt like it was more of a like the story arc was essentially just a tournament. It was almost like Tekken style, right? You choose your character, and the story is going to revolve around that character, if I remember correctly. That's how it was. But for sure, I know that that's changed in Mortal Kombat throughout the years, where, again, when you decide to play the story mode, it essentially just, you play the characters that are assigned to you via the story vehicle, right? And this movie, I feel like, really does that well, right? Like, the character is Mortal Kombat, right? It's the tournament, right? It's not necessarily like, the main, you know what I'm saying? The main character, it's that. It's not these fighters, or it's not just one specific fighter, I should say. Where that first one, again, they chose to kind of create this new character called Cole Young, descendant of Scorpion. And again, I just didn't like the story arc they gave him. It was kind of tacky, but and even like the power set they gave him, it was, I don't know, it was a bit, I don't know, kind of just like, almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? They essentially kind of gave him like, almost like Superman or something. Like, they kind of like made him Superman, right? In the sense of like, they gave him eventually they gave him what would appear to be a armor plot. There you go. That's essentially what the word is. They essentially gave him the powers of like armor plot. That was his superpower. Let me not say anything crazy, but whole point is yeah, I wasn't too crazy about him in that first one. The story in that first one, it was kind of, I mean, it was easy to follow, but it was very much fast paced. Like, things are happening pretty quickly. But I still do like the battle or the fights in the sequences in that movie. Uh, the effects were great, the fatalities, all that, like, the way they essentially something again, there were really good aspects to that first one, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Um, that, you know, made this second movie coming out, uh, I guess, desirable to watch. Mr. J in the comments section, he says Mortal Kombat was really good. It really, and I'm telling you, it really was, man, and a lot better than the first one. Is essentially what the point that I'm making right now. Again, not to say that the first one completely sucked, but there's certain things that I just didn't like about that first one. While there were things that I did appreciate and I was fond of. But this second movie really like ups the ante, um, from the good qualities that were great about the first movie, initially, bringing that over here, and then actually being able to mount on top of that more things to actually enjoy and like about the film. Again, I'm trying to give a spoiler-free review here, so I'm not gonna, because I want you guys to go watch this movie. If you're on the fence about it, if you intend to go watch it, if you weren't sure, or maybe you thought to yourself you're not into, I think you would enjoy this movie. It's got everything you want in a movie, in a sense, right? Like let's just say if you're looking for something entertaining, it's for sure entertaining. It's got a lot of action sequences, really funny, and when it counts, or when it needs to be, and some moments there, like, that you can kind of feel for, I guess you could say. um and um and then I would say, if you're a diehard fan of Mortal Kombat, i I know a lot of you are there with me and saying, like, this movie really felt like the video games, so you have to love it, I think, if you're a Mortal Kombat fan. Mr. J says, I enjoyed the first one, but yeah, this second one was more what I thought the first one was going to. Yeah, exactly. That's essentially, I guess, how I felt. Watching this movie, I'm like, man, this is essentially what I was expecting in the first one that I didn't get, and they delivered in this one, like, tenfold. It's again, it's really worth the watch, man. Like, um, it doesn't miss a beat. Again, if you're a diehard fan of the Mortal Kombat video games and the storyline, like the story arcs in the games, you're really going to appreciate this movie, if you haven't seen it already. And you should go see it already if you're a really diehard fan. But even if you're not, if you're just looking for a movie to, that's entertaining enough, right? This is worth the watch. It's funny. It's got action, pretty good story plot, in my opinion, for Mortal Kombat. Now, I will say off the bat, definitely not child friendly. Definitely not child friendly. But if your parenting style is that you let your kids watch this kind of stuff, then I guess, hey, go ahead, do your thing. But, but if I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I don't think children should watch this movie. Essentially, if you're trying to raise them right, I guess. There's a lot of craziness happening. Nothing sexually, I'll say that much. I would say that there's nothing sexual going on in this movie, so it's kind of also a breath of fresh air, right? Like, it's essentially just entertainment for entertainment's sake, without having to go there. Mr. J says, I did feel like it was missing some key characters. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can definitely feel that, bro. I could definitely feel that. He says, bro, they had some little kids in my man. That's nuts. That's nuts. And I know you know what I mean when I say it's not really a child-friendly film. It's really not. Not because of any sexuality, because, like, thank God that's not really what this movie's about. But or and even the jokes that could land around that are very minimal at best, and even some kind of like playful flirting banter, it's very minimalist. Like, so the story doesn't really lean on that, and not that it shouldn't, because it can, right? I'll be honest, as a diehard Mortal Kombat fan, there are certain level fairs I'm hoping to eventually get, right? Because it's like, I know that that's essentially part of the story arc. or in times past, it's been in the story. Um, that I thought it would be cool. There are some things that I thought we were gonna get, and I don't know if they purposely kind of like played around with these things, to like have us think, oh, for nostalgia's sake, they're gonna do this, and it kind of doesn't really deliver, but it doesn't have to because it doesn't really necessarily, I guess, do the story any justice, anyways. Um, while on the other hand, there are things that were very much this is what this character is known for. This was, and even the move sets, right? That's one thing I definitely liked about this movie is seeing like the special moves that you would see in the games being done, but like in a real time fighting cinematography. You know what I'm saying? Or I feel like there's another word I was looking for, not cinematography, but like choreography. There you go. It did really good, man. Again, the fighting sequences were great. I mean, I don't even want to mention who fights each other in this film. I just want to say again, because like I really want you guys to go in surprise into this movie. But I will say, like, there's a lot of fights in this movie between certain characters that are like, it's like who takes the cake of like which fight was the best. It's hard to say, but yeah, there's probably like maybe one moment in the film that I'll say like I was like, very minimalist approach to how they did something with a certain character there, but at the same time, like again, it doesn't hurt the film. Not really. It doesn't really hurt the film. Mr. J says the trailer does show some fights. Yeah, that's true. It does, but even then, actually, yeah, even then, I don't. Listen, as much as I would really want to talk about a specific fight there that I think is like there's like two parts of the film that are the heart of the film, like two story things that are happening and actually maybe even three. And that's what I'm saying. Like it does have some kind of like emotional heaviness to it without being that heavy, and it works for this movie. I wouldn't say that this necessarily works in every movie. Like this isn't something, every director or every studio should think that this is something they could do. But yeah, there are some really good fights. Mr. J says, no, there really is, man. There really is. Again, the fight scenes, the choreography, and yeah, and even like the CGI parts of what you can tell us like, okay, well, that's not real. But like in the sense of like the movement of things, right? Like the flow of things. But that's essentially now you're diving into that Mortal Kombat world, right? The obviously the laws of physics play a little different, right? So yeah, all that to say, guys, the Mortal Kombat 2 movie definitely worth the watch if you were again on the fence about it. Not sure if you want to spend your money on it this weekend. I'm telling you, it's worth the watch. Definitely worth spending the money on it. And that's again, if you're like, let's just say you're just a casual moviegoer, I think this is worth the watch. Something you can enjoy for the weekend. But if you're a Mortal Kombat diehard Mortal Kombat fan, you're into that world, into the lore, into those video games. This is it. This is it. And I would say I would recommend, possibly even if you have the chance, and not that this should prohibit you from watching the movie in any kind of way, but watch the first one prior to watching the second one. It's a good way to kind of just fall right in line with the storyline, but like it's also not that necessary. That's the kind of the cool part about how they did this. But still, there are things in this movie that are very much connected to the first part that you probably would be lost. There's and like when I say that, it's probably like maybe one or two things that you won't understand, you won't get because you didn't watch the first one. Essentially, everything else is kind of like a very new story, so to speak, with these new characters that they introduced into the story arc, the overall story arc of that, Mortal Kombat universe, or cinematic universe, I should say. Mr. J says, all I'm going to say is that, oh man, that last fatality, bro. Oh man, like so worth it. So worth it, and honestly, I was kind of like, man, like what I'm trying to say without saying it, but I know since you've seen it, you know what I'm saying. But obviously, towards that last part, there's obviously we're it ends in a way that it's like, what happened with this guy, right? So it's like you know, again, if you're a fan of the video games, I think you're gonna appreciate some of the things you see in this movie, especially like if you're into the more recent story arcs of Mortal Kombat, right? Um, it's definitely worth the watch, guys. Definitely worth the watch. I'm glad I went to go see it. I will say I went to go see a matinee show, so it wasn't as packed as I thought it would be. But I think it's because I went to go, I caught an early show. But that part kind of was like, man, like what's going on? Like I thought it'd be packed, but I went to an early show. I feel like the moment I got out, I saw like a very packed parking lot. When I got there, it was like I don't know, like half of it was full, I guess. Mr. J says the entire room was cheering. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't get that, right? Like, and again, it's probably because I went to go see this a matinee show very early. So like there was a few of us there that clearly were into it a lot, like, but I will say this, the whole room was responsive, right, to the oohs and the ah moments, and especially to like the very like funny moments, right? Like you just can't help but laugh, right? And it's which is, I will say, like the first movie, right? The Kano character definitely adds a lot of that the humoristic part of that story, right? And very much carries the humor part of it. Every character kind of has its moment, but it's Kano for sure carrying it. And in this film, right, like with bringing in Johnny Cage, it was like double the amount of like just comedic bits you have now, right? Oops, and I probably, well, anyways. So that's that. Mr. J says, I caught a 5 p.m. showing. Yeah, see, mine, and that's what I'm saying. Mine wasn't too late, and that's why I was kind of a bit like confused, because but it was still early, right? It was like I think I essentially caught like a 4:00 show, which I understand is Friday. People are barely getting out of work, so I guess that's what that is, Yeah. See, well, well, now that cat's out the bag. If anybody did watch the first one, cat's out the bag. Spoiler alert! This is the last and final spoiler you get. I kind of dropped the ball though myself a bit. So, but that's makes a return, I guess. So, but both of them are great. Like it's such the comedic relief between the two, Johnny Cage and Kano, man. It's so awesome. I mean, again, you probably actually know that the guys in the film if you actually were paying attention to even like the red carpet and all that stuff. So yeah, don't worry about it, Mr. J. Honestly, anybody who was following the promotions for this film saw that this guy, that the Kano actor, was very much alive and well, promoting the film, right? You don't do that if you're not in the film, you know what I mean? Even if you're part of the first installment. So, but yeah, man, it's such a good movie, man. Again, it was such a good movie, very entertaining. Me and my brother went to go watch it. Again, the fatalities, the fight sequences, the humor, the story itself. It's a really good movie, guys. Is it the best? Is it the perfect movie? Probably not. Again, I'm giving you my first watch, just feeling and vibe about it, right? I left enjoying the movie, and usually that's how I going in to watch a movie for the first time, unless it's a movie that I'm really like going in to digest, right? Like because I know that I'm going into I don't know, let's just say like a Christopher Nolan film or something, or a Zack Snyder film, or Dennis Villeneuve, whatever his name, I'm saying, like anything that's got like an auteur type director, or even if just a director that's proclaimed to be great. Right, and I have to see if this man's really about his stuff. Then I'll be a bit more critique and critical about my with my first watch of a certain film. But again, I really didn't go in there with that in mind when I watched this movie. It was more just let me just enjoy this, see where they go with it, following the first one. And again, I think they did a good job. They followed up through, like, didn't just follow through. They superseded that which they did in the first one, and I think Mr. J said it right. It's essentially whatever I thought I was gonna get in that first movie that I didn't get, I get it here, and abundantly. Like uh, not conservatively. They go into it. Is my whole point. You know what? I didn't get any souvenirs, which kind of like I'm kind of salty about that, but I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can go again, maybe tomorrow or Sunday. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? See if I can get myself one of those souvenirs. The bucket or something. Because yeah, I unfortunately didn't get to do it. I was essentially running on Puerto Rican time to get to the theater. So I missed my window there. I was more so rushing to go and make sure I catch everything in the catch the movie. But yeah, I definitely, believe me, I was looking at that what was it, that Shao Kahn helmet popcorn, dude. Of course I wanted that. So yeah, again, I'm gonna try and see if I can watch it. You got the helmet bucket. Yeah. Again, that's essentially what I was looking at too. And I was like, saying no time, go. So that it is what it is. But yeah, guys, again, definitely worth the watch, man. Go check it out, man. It's don't miss out on it. Don't think that it's not worth it. Again, assuming assuming if you're going off of maybe the first film, because again, I'm not gonna lie and pretend like the first film was all that. Again, I personally don't think it's the worst movie out there, or I believe there's qualities about it that were good. While there are things that I said earlier that I didn't like about the movie. But if you're, let's just say, like thinking to yourself, man, that first one was like it was decent. I don't know if it was so good that I'm interested in this next one. Man, again, please don't let that be the thing that stops you from watching this second one, because they really pick up the bar from where they last had it, and they for sure raise it. Like, it's not that it's nothing like the first movie, or it's not. It's way better, I should say. It's way better. Like, again, the good qualities of the first one get brought over here, and then everything else that was missing is added, and voila, Mortal Kombat 2, chef's kiss to that genre of film of making a movie on a fighting game, right? And I will say this, and I've heard others say this, and I will agree. Street Fighter better be coming with it. I'll tell you this much, because Mortal Kombat delivered. Mortal Kombat 2 delivered. It's, again, if you're a fan of that Mortal Kombat game, that whole lore, that universe, so to speak, man, this movie delivers. So Street Fighter, again, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for Street Fighter still too. So don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, man, Mortal Kombat 2 brought it, man. Like, they flawless victoried this movie. Let me just say that. They flawless victoried this movie. Clip that, and so I hope you guys, Street Fighter, y'all better bring it. That's all I'm saying. Y'all better bring it. Mr. J says, I think Street Fighter will be in the same level. I think so too. I'm saying it just because, and again, this is probably from someone who was a bit skeptical, because again, that first movie did have me, concerned, so to speak. But when I obviously saw certain characters being brought into this new movie, I was like, hold on. We didn't get all these characters in that first one, which I think was essentially what was missing. And obviously, Mr. J pointed out, like, you can never have too many of the characters, right? So, like, there's some characters you still want to see that you don't get. That, I mean, again, it's, if trajectory shows me anything, is that maybe this is the way they're just trying to roll this out, right? The same way these superhero films do it, right? Where like initially it was like, let's introduce in waves, so to speak. I think that's what they're doing here too. Again, like that first one didn't have really a lot of the characters, but a good enough amount, right, to kind of give the Mortal Kombat storyline. This one really does it though, right? This one actually takes you there. This is exactly, and man, again, I don't want to give too much away, but when I say that, really, when I say that, it really takes on the aesthetic and the vibe and the aura, I guess you could say, of the video games. It does. But again, you have more characters, so I'm just gonna assume the next coming movie, even more. So definitely looking forward to it. To what they're gonna bring next. But as far as Street Fighter goes, yeah, I'm also looking forward to it. I believe it'll be on the same level, but yeah, like Mr. J says, looks more cheesy, but in a good way. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing: is Street Fighter definitely has certain characters that are a bit like wonky, you know what I mean, compared to Mortal Kombat, right? Um, it's 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 definitely in its own. Yeah, it has a lot more wonky characters, right? Like when you're talking about those video games, right? Like your Mortal Kombats, your Tekkens, your Soul Calibers, right? Um, Street Fighter has a lot more wonkier characters, right? And not in a bad way, right? Like that's the aesthetic, right? And that's not to say that all the characters. I'm not saying all the characters are, but I'm just saying as far as like wonky characters are concerned, it definitely has a lot more of that you can play with. That I think are gonna give that, and yeah, but then even the storyline, right? Like they're definitely digging into the Ken being Ken, right? They're going that route with it, as you can see from the trailer. But I like the cast, man. I just really like that cast for that Street Fighter movie so far. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. But again, I say all that to say that Mortal Kombat 2 brought it, and Street Fighter's got to bring it. Uh, the crazy part would be is if they somehow drop the ball. But yeah, trailer wise, I'll say this much: everything that I've seen in the trailer for Street Fighter, it looks good. It looks good. It looks like it's gonna deliver. So I have no doubt about that. All I'm saying is uh, now you have competition. Is all I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Now there's some actual competition out here. Is what I'm saying. Mortal Kombat 2 brought it. Now there's competition. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say here. So Street Fighter got to bring it, man. They got to bring it, and we will see how that goes, man. But anyways, not again, that was just my quick review. You know what? Let me see it. If I were to give it a rating, off my first watch, just off my first watch. So again, this isn't. I do believe some movies you have to watch. Actually, I believe almost every movie you probably need to watch more than once to get the most solid critique you can give. Although some movies, for the most part, or not for the most part, some movies really just, that first watch you can tell if it's a hit or miss, or hit or bust. So, but this is a hit, is what I'm gonna say. It's definitely not a bust. And I don't want to give it a 10. But out of 10, I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give it an 8 off my first watch. Off my first watch, I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. That's probably what I'll give it. And I'll to even clarify why. Just because there's some very things nitpicky wise for me personally, personal taste on my end, of how I like things to be done, but like it's not even like it's not anything I think a critic should concern themselves with. It's a personal thing for me. Mr. J agrees with me, right? 8 out of 10. I'm telling you that's a solid rating, man. Like 8 out of 10 is a solid rating. And again, I'm just trying to not actually just be so like what's the word I'm looking for here? Just brown nosing the film or something like that, or like just being a diehard here and just giving it so much praise that I'm going to actually give it a perfect score. It might deserve it. I don't, it might actually deserve it, but I'm going to reserve that perfect score to see what else they do, right? And then so that'd be like 1 point to why probably why it could have been maybe a 9 out of 10, but then the reason it won't be a 9 out of 10 for me is because, again, there's some certain things that what I like in my movies, right? Things, how I like, for what I would have liked to see, preference wise, right? To why I'm gonna just keep it at an 8 out of 10. But that's a solid rating that of a movie that I enjoyed. That's definitely worth the watch, guys. Definitely worth the watch. Yeah, and exactly. That's the whole point. I wanted to be entertained, and I was. That's exactly right. That's my whole point, right? Like, you know, and again, that's why I'm saying like what I'm talking about. It's like such like selfish uh preferences. It's more like, and you know, it's more to like styles of films that I like. You know, like for instance, I like the challenge of if there's a way to make a world that's already obviously very fictitious and very fictional, how much can you grab? Like, I like that kind of challenge. And if a director can do that, you know, which because some of my favorite directors can do that, I like to see that, you know. And I will say in this movie though, there is ways that they kind of make it happen, but just not all the way, right? And again, that's a selfish preference, right? Again, overall, just like Mr. J, I wanted to be entertained, and I was. I wanted to pretty much, you know, see that this movie was going to be better than the first one, and it was. And like he said, what we didn't get in the first one, you get it here abundantly. So, uh, guys, go check it out. Mortal Kombat, 8 out of 10 rating for me. Mr. J himself, same rating. So that's already the average. That's already the average here on the Chop Shop, 8 out of 10. But guys, yeah, go watch the movie. Just go watch the movie. Be the judge of it for yourself. I wouldn't steer you wrong, but make your own thoughts, make your own critiques about it. And if you disagree with me, you know, say like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know what, Vega said some things that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go watch it. Go watch it. And if I'm wrong, come tell me I'm wrong. I don't mind that either. All right, guys. But on to the next thing. Again, I'm gonna try and keep this one going. The last episode, it was about 4 hours long. We're gonna try not to go that long into this one. But just to get into the next thing, and this is gonna be pretty short. But again, this, like I said in the description or in the comment section when of this video, it's Restore the Snyderverse is probably going to be on every time I go live, but specifically more so you can guarantee that. I can guarantee that, you can bet on that, I should say, when there's a reason for it, because apparently this guy just keeps giving me reasons to do so is my whole point, and so I don't be mad at me. Like I said last time, don't be mad at me if I keep bringing this up. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at the guy who just keeps giving me the reason to do so, right? And that's Zack Snyder, guys. Again, like, this guy just keeps going. He just keeps going nonstop, man. And it's I like, and what was dope about when he did this is, if I'm correct, it was like on the day of the season finale of The Boys, if I'm correct, or something like that. If I'm correct, I could be wrong here, but I feel like it was on like the and I could be wrong. Maybe there's no season, maybe it hasn't even reached the season finale, but I remember there was like a lot, like the day that he did this, there was like a lot of commotion about The Boys, and then all of a sudden he posts this, The Boys, right? Which, it's funny because in retrospect, right, like, this is, these are the original Boys, right? Like, what they do in The Boys is like, come on, like Homelander, Superman, right? Or Noir, Batman, what's the other one? The other lady, I forget her name right now, that's clearly Wonder Woman, right? Like, the Seven, right, are the Justice League, right? So again, Zack freaking Snyder, exactly. Just as Mrs. J says it here, right? Zack freaking Snyder doing his thing, dude. And keeping us clearly just knowing, like, they're talking. They're talking. They've talked already. There's plans. And even if there's not, this is him saying, like, noise needs to be happening around this so that when the new regime enters, there's a shot of this, this story arc continuing on, and exactly as Mr. J saying, keeping the flame alive is what he's doing, right? He didn't have to come to IG, dude. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to come to Instagram. He did, and now he's here. But not only did he not have to come to Instagram, but he didn't even have to like post anything Justice League related, but he does, and overwhelmingly, right? Like as I said last time, right on Monday, it's he posts other stuff too. Some things of his other is the last photograph movie that he just finished shooting. Some of the some things Rebel Moon related, some things Watchmen, some things Sucker Punch, some things Army of the Dead, and things like that. A lot of all that, But there's no denying that the thing he keeps posting the most is heavily DC. Clearly, this is where the man's heart and passion is. Like all I'm saying is like for anybody who thinks like he's over it or he should be over it or it's dead or it's done, like no, it's not. The man's working on other films, but the fact that this is what he's posting. And look, you can argue, sure, the guy knows how to market himself, right? And the biggest project and IP he's worked on career-wise is obviously the Justice League, obviously, right? Like what's bigger than the Justice League? What's bigger than Superman? What's bigger than Batman? Nothing, right? Hold on. Ugh, that's good. But what's bigger than that, right? Like there's nothing, right? So, in that case, sure. But to like what end? You know what I'm saying? What is he marketing exactly? Like the man doesn't need the marketing, is my point. But my point is what directors you see doing this, right? Like very few directors are doing this on this level, right? Now, I'm not saying that no directors are not doing anything at all. I mean, some directors don't even have social media profiles, right? But some of them essentially, that's not the world that they live in, and it's kind of like that's not the movies they do, right? You're talking about a director who's the reason he's doing this is because his passion is in these very things, right? So like, one can argue, well, Christopher Nolan, he did Batman. Why is he, that's Batman was bigger than Batman, right? And he did, why is, he doesn't need whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't, but again, think about it. That's just not what the comic book genre isn't Nolan's niche, or not that it's necessarily that, not that Zack Snyder is tied to that either. But what I'm saying is when you're looking at like all the movies Zack Snyder's done to Nolan, Zack Snyder clearly has a passion for comic books, right? Like that's evident, right? So all that to say that his fan base that he interacts with us, he is very much on social media like this, talking about this. And it's not to say, I mean, look, here's the thing. Anybody who follows my IG, I'm constantly sharing Nolan page related stuff, right? Like I'm obviously very excited for the Odyssey, right? Interstellar, one of the best movies out there, Inception, Tenet, whatever, the list goes on. All I'm saying is Zack Snyder very much likes to engage with his fan base. He's very well aware that his fan base is heavily rooted in the comic book movie genre of things, as well as auteur type things, right? Like he knows we are into the very encryptic details that go into a movie, the layeredness the layers that can be in a movie of storytelling between, visual messaging and sound and whatever, all that, right? So, again, it's as long as he keeps posting this, is all I'm saying. I'm gonna keep posting hashtag restore the Snyderverse. I'm gonna keep talking about it. That's all I'm saying. Zach, just like us, wants to finish his story with these characters. Mr. J says exactly. I mean, that's a thing. Like, dude, I mean, look, even myself, right? Like, just things that I've worked on that that I'm like, even from on my level is what I'm trying to get at, right? Even on such a minuscule level of just little old me, right? Things that I haven't finished that bother me if I can't get to finish it, right? So just imagine on that level, though, right? You were on the front page, or like you're on Front Street in the sense of like, again, you're working on some of the biggest characters to exist, and you create this story arc that gets taken from you. It's not. There's no way you don't want to finish that. Just no way. We got Gino on Facebook. We got Gino on YouTube. My guy, my brother, I appreciate you with the flames. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Again, salute to you. Check out his food, guys. He's got a. Let me see, Gino. Put it in the comment sections. On preferably on YouTube, Facebook. I can't share that on the platform, but share where people can find the food the food restaurant that you work with and that you be promoting all the time. So that way, we can have some love sent towards it. But anyways, guys, yeah. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse is in full effect, is all I'm saying. The man's not done with it. He's got here the boys, Aquaman, Flash, Batman, Cyborg, Superman. Oh man. And man, we got the homie here. I'm looking at the guys here and it's like, man, the good old days. These guys are the veterans of the, some of the guys from back in hashtag release the Snyder Cut days when we were fighting for the release of the Snyder Cut. What a superhero universe that was. Wish this team comes together. Yeah, wish this team comes together. I mean, and same here. And hashtag you see them. They know the message. They get the mission. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse, guys. So let's make sure we let Paramount know what's up. Obviously they're the ones acquiring this now. Make sure that they understand, like, yo, this is where they need to be going, right? Like, they really want that money. If they really, and it sucks to say that because, right, like, it's not that I hate that. I wish it didn't have to be about the money, but it is, right? But the reality is this. If that's what they're about, which obviously what company isn't, that you're essentially buying this because you want to make more money, right? You essentially bought Warner Brothers because you want to make more money. And obviously, again, you're about to own one of the biggest IPs to exist. Marvel, DC, right? Like that's, when it comes to comic book stuff, right? You're about to own DC, Lord of the Rings, the Dune franchise now, right? The Game of Thrones, right? There's so many IPs now that you're about to own via acquiring Warner Brothers on top of the IP that you already own, right? As Paramount, right? So, yeah, guys, it's just a no-brainer. And but even though if it's a no-brainer for us, we got to make sure we let them know it's a no-brainer, right? So, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, guys. Let it be known. Let it be known. Again, take whatever favorite images you have, whatever favorite video scenes, video sequences you like about the movie, and just hashtag restore the Snyderverse. And if you have even the time, add at Paramount picks or some whatever Paramount film, whatever they are, on whatever platform you have, whatever platform you're working out of. If you're on X, make sure you tag them, right? At them, whatever. Same thing on Facebook. Same thing on IG. Wherever you're at, just please hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Let them know this is what we want. This is what we want. We want a better Superman. We deserve a better Superman, not this cringe Superman we got back in 2025. And in this goofy DC universe James Gunn's put together. For you guys that like it, I mean, kudos to you. And if there's a world that they will give you that, they'll let you eat your cake, but we get our cake, so be it. But if one has to go, if one has to come, or if one has to go in order for the one that really needs for it to come, then by all means, bye DCU, James Gunn, DC. I don't care for it personally. So that's that. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse, guys. Again, I can't say enough about it. It's I don't to this day, best Batman ever, best Superman ever. We needed more Cyborg. Flash deserved a better shot at his movie, and we need more of the Flash, period. And obviously Jason Momoa's Aquaman, I think, was a great surprise. A great surprise, right? I don't know. I don't think anybody knew how well that character would resonate with Jason Momoa, and it did. I'm gonna assume you mean this is an unforgettable universe. Or unless you mean the forgettable universe is James Gunn's James Gunn's DCU. I'm gonna assume that's what you're saying. But yeah, guys, so again, Zach is still posting, man, and to me that means something. As I say every time, Zach posts, that's him telling us to keep fighting. That's the way I see that. That's him keeping the flame alive. That's him keeping the fight going on. You know, and obviously with the new powers that be that are coming, that are about to take over. Yeah, the DCU. Okay, yeah, I figured as much because I was like, hold on. But yeah, guys, so we deserve just a better cinematic universe. Is all I'm saying, right? I think where everybody can agree, the peak DC, peaky DC at its peak, DC at its finest is it's the Nolan and Snyder era. Period. Like, and yeah, we've had some gems along the way, right? It's not to say that you know, there wasn't anything after that, right? Like, I mean, again, Todd Phillips' Joker, and even Part Two. For those that don't like it, I don't know what's wrong with you, but again, Todd Phillips' Joker, right? That it's that style, right? That kind of just auteur grounded, just you know, and even Penguin, the Penguin series, man, that was a great series. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's so much good that can come out of the DC universe, or that DC, um, the IP of DC, right? And just it's the way they be snoozing on these things, but every now and then they get a good they get a good shot at something, you know what I mean? And so we'll see how that goes. And Clayface looks like it might be good. I don't like the fact that Gunn is trying to claim it like it's his project, you know. But that teaser looked pretty good, but that's about it. We'll see where it goes after that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that you know, a trailer, a teasers can look one way, but then next thing you know, you get a full on trailer and you realize like, oh no, this got James Gunn ran all over it. It's that doo-doo. You know, like even I was at when I was watching Mortal Kombat and I saw that Supergirl trailer, I'm just like, just it was so hard, just hard to watch, man. It's like, man, this is where we're at now. Then you kind of get even in that trailer, you got a little bit more of I guess what Lobo's going to be in the film, and this is what I told essentially. I think I'm not sure if it was Sil or Carlos or Silos, but you know, are we getting Lobo or are we getting Momoa? Right? Because it's like when I'm hearing the character talk and certain things that he's saying, it sounds more like Momoa, and I don't know. There's something about it that kind of like you couldn't even try at least a little bit to change your voice, just a little bit, and I don't know. And even if you couldn't change your voice, those who edited the movie they can't, I don't know, mess with your vocals just a bit. I don't know. It just sounds like Momoa with paint on his face. That's essentially what I'm kind of worried about, with this Lobo character. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm not that excited about it. So, I'm really not sure if I'm gonna watch it. I'm kind of on the fence still about it, and it's one of those things where it's like I'm such a DC fan that it's kind of hard not to watch things that are DC related. But at the same time, I'm tired of just giving money to a company that keeps giving me what I don't want. So that's kind of where that's at. But it's still hard because again, at heart, I still really like DC. I love DC, right? I love that universe. I love, that's between the two, Marvel and DC. I've always been more DC than Marvel, even though I like Marvel too. But again, growing up on Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, Justice League the animated series, the Batman movies, the Superman movies, that whole world, right? The Supergirl, all that, whatever. It's and then I was even a big fan of the Arrowverse, right? At first, when that first started, it kind of lost its way after, and then it just lost its way. But there was something that was still cool about it initially, right? Like, again, I like DC. I love DC, right? Again, that's over between the two comic book houses of Marvel and DC. I'm more of a DC fan. I love to see DC, but again, it's like I have to determine whether or not some of these movies are even worth my money. So, but well, we'll see. I probably, again, I'm saying I probably won't watch it, but at the same time, who knows when it comes out and what also kind of brings me to go watch a movie sometimes also is the fact that I don't want to be disingenuous about trash talking it. So, but at the same time, I think the reason why I can kind of feel safe there now with doing it is because let's just say, and I know it's gonna see. Here's the thing: I know people might still get me to go watch it because even what I'm about to say now might sound unfair, but you know, the oh wow, I got something in my eye, I think, but the fact that again I gave Superman a chance because I was like, all right, you know what, I'm talking all this smack, right? I saw the trailers and I'm not liking what I see in the trailers, but I've always been a proponent of like, hey, don't let people tell you how to feel about a movie. Go watch it for yourself. That's how I personally feel. So I was like, you know what, maybe I got to hold myself to that standard. Let me go watch this movie so I can fairly critique it and actually and be honest. So that way, like, I'm not being dishonest just because I don't like what I saw in a trailer. And again, but not to say that you don't have the right? Like again, that's essentially on the movie, right? Like, or on the studio, right? Like, is there like a tape here? It's essentially on the studio, right? They got trying to like take this battery out of this damn pack. That's essentially on the studio. They got to give you a proper trailer to get you to go see a movie. So if the trailer doesn't get you to go see it, that's on them. But nonetheless, I felt like, okay, let me go see this Superman movie, give James Gunn a shot to see if, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because there were some rumblings that supposedly he even did talk to Zack Snyder and there's a Zack Snyder influence in the movie, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, whatever. All that to say that I gave it a shot and I saw exactly what I was afraid of, right? Like exactly what I expect to go see in a James Gunn movie is exactly what I witnessed, right? And again, not that I don't like what James Gunn can do with movies, right? It's not that at all, because there are movies he's done that I'm okay with, that I like, because I know that that's in his wheelhouse, that's his genre, that's his niche, that's what he's good at. But when he tries to do that same thing over with Superman, thinking like you could do the same exact thing, that's what I wasn't okay with. So all that to say that if his hands were truly on Supergirl, that could probably check off that this movie is not going to be good. The only reason somebody can properly combat me to that is because, like, well, it wasn't directed by James Gunn technically, so is it really fair to just disown it already? And to that, it's like, all right, touche, you're right. Like, I guess it isn't. Wow, what is going on here? Wow. Sorry, guys. So you guys think what I'm doing here and why I'm kind of like flabbergasted. I'm trying to get this damn. Oh, I see what happened here. Okay. Nope. Let's not do that. It's like in plastic still is what it is. That's what I didn't realize. Okay. Child secure. I see now. Okay. Hopefully I can get this to open with just my teeth. No, because they're probably thinking, well, children use their teeth to break things open. Wow. Okay. So I won't be having this open. Anyways, so yeah, all that to say, guys, I'm not concerned with James Gunn sticking around. I'm not too sure about this new Supergirl movie coming out. Again, I can see somebody twisting my arm enough to go watch it just because it's like, well, are you really being honest with how the movie is? If you haven't want to go to watch it, and technically you're not watching a James Gunn movie, it's another director's movie, so give them a shot. And that might be like, all right, God, I'll go watch it. But I'll be really pissed. No, I actually won't be, I guess, pissed. I like knowing exactly. So I like knowing exactly what I dislike about something. So I might even just be like, whatever, waste of money, but not a waste of time, because then I can tell you guys 100% confidently like whether it's worth the watch or not. But we'll see. But either way, as of right now, even if I were to go watch it, I can tell you that as of right now, I'm not too sure I'm gonna like it anyways. But and I'm definitely not excited for Mana tomorrow. That much I could say, you know. But once his contract's over, like for me personally, good riddance. Gun out, Snyder in, restore the Snyderverse. Period. Um, but anyways, on to better things or better news, right? Because and I say that in the sense of like, you know, unfortunately, we still live in a world where we got James Gunn's DCU and not the Snyderverse. So, boo-hoo, right? But let's talk about the NBA playoffs, guys. I mean, this essentially is kind of wrapping up the way I thought it was, with the slight caveat of, well, I guess that weird, and I think it was on Monday when I discussed it? Yeah, they lost on Monday, right? That was weird, right? And I didn't expect the series to be that tight between the Spurs and the Timberwolves, but that was on me. You know, that's me not giving the Timberwolves enough credit. But right now, I know the series is tied 1-1, and they're playing right now at the moment. I think they're in the halftime right now. Last I checked. Yep, tied at 51. So, you know, that's an interesting series. But everything else so far is panning out exactly the way you thought. You know, the way I said it was, right? Knicks and 76ers. I feel Knicks are going to take it. They're leading the series 3-0. They just won the third game today. Same thing with OKC and the Lakers. You know, they're dominating on that end. OKC's dominating. They're up their series 2-0. Again, same thing. I said the same thing with the Pistons, the Cavs. It's going to be the Pistons. And they're already leading their series 2-0. Again, the one that's taking me by surprise, I just can't stun. It's the Spurs and Timberwolves series. I was like, wow, I didn't think they were going to not win that first game. You know, not that they were going to blow them out. Although that second game, that's exactly how I feel like it should be every game. But it is what it is, you know, whatever. But right now they're tied at 51-51. And this is how we'll know why. Still, I know Wemby's got 16 points. Got Vassell at 8. Trying to see what the score is or who's scoring. So Wemby's taking control of the game on their end so far. Look, Castle's doing this. So a few guys are kind of coming up short, is what it looks like to me. I'm definitely going to try and catch the game once I'm off, but so that's what it's looking like right now. And again, the Knicks just dominating on their series in every way possible, really and truly. Brunson, but again, Jalen Brunson doing his thing. I mean, the guy's a beast. 33 points today. Golly, let's go. 5 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, okay, the man's the man for a reason, right? Bridges did his thing as well. 23 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. So shout out to him. But overall stats, again, and this is important, right? And this is how I'll tell you this much, guys. Like, this to me is what tells you who's going to win the game. Who's getting more boards, right? Like, who's dominating the paint more? Who's getting the most rebounds, right? So right now, the Knicks are dominating on the rebounds, guys. Offensive rebounds this game, 13. Defensive rebounds, 36. Overall, 49 to the 76ers, 33. To me, that gives away how the game's going to go personally. That's a telltale sign, right? Because, you know, again, if you're dominating on rebounds, you can take, you know, whether it's offensively, you can miss a few shots and still come up, is my hope. That's what's good about having a team that's controlling the boards, right? Is that you offensively, if you miss a few shots, but you have guys there to grab the rebound, you'll always have a chance to make up for it, right? And then same thing defensively, though, right? If you're able to dominate on the defensive rebound so that you're capitalizing on every missed shot of your opponent, that's every opportunity you now have to now make a shot. So whoever controls the boards, I feel for the most part controls the games. But there's obviously other aspects too, right? Here's how you know what I'm saying is true, right? Knicks dominated on the boards, but the crazy part is they had more turnovers in the game, right? So how do you have more turnovers but somehow still come out on top? You get what I'm saying? And you shouldn't have that many turnovers. That's what's crazy. So that's crazy. So, but wait, actually, maybe I'm reading this wrong. No, I'm reading this. This has to be right. Yeah. So Um, no, it's right. It's right because yeah, look at it shows that the 76ers definitely took advantage of the turnovers that they got. They got 24 points off turnovers. Jesus, that in any other game, if they would have also been dominating on rebounds, that would have been it. Crazy that they, again, they had so many turnovers given to them that they should have capitalized on. But when you're controlling the boards, so kudos to the Knicks, man. Again, they're dominating their series. I expected that. Every series is essentially playing out the way I thought it was. The only one that's for whatever reason taking a turn for just a slight different turn. Yeah, it's the San Antonio and Minnesota, man, the Spurs and the Timberwolves. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that, see how it keeps going as the game progresses. If I'm still live, giving you guys the update on that. But as of right now, series is tied 51-51. But I still believe it's going to play out the way I said. I think Spurs should still take the series, regardless of how tight it's looking. It's going to be the Spurs and OKC. It's going to be Detroit and the Knicks in the conference finals. And I believe, in my opinion, the overall finals, it should be the Spurs and the Knicks. That's what it should be. But again, when I'm looking at these games with the term, I'm like, golly. But again, if there's any team that can beat that could beat the Thunder, the OKC Thunder, it's the Spurs. I don't see. Let's just say for some reason, miraculously, this goes into Game 7. Minnesota takes it somehow. Because if Minnesota comes out on top, that's how it's going to happen, right? It's not going to be because they somehow only let the Spurs get one win, and then all of a sudden now going forward, it's a 4-1 series. There's no way. It would have to be that somehow crazily, just like with the Celtics and their last series, that somehow they let the series go to Game 7, and somehow Minnesota gets it, and then they're facing OKC. But if that's the team OKC faces in the conference finals, golly, what an easy That's just going to be an easy series for them. Spurs is who we want facing OKC. That's going to be the challenge. And again, I know that sounds crazy because it's like, well, you say that, but you got the Spurs here struggling against the Timberwolves. I'm just telling you how I see it. I'm just telling you how it kind of played out even throughout the season, right? So I'm just telling you that's how it went. So, or how I see it. So, if you don't like it, disagree with me, let me know in the comment section why. But like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on it, guys. But that's where we're at right now. Knicks leading their series 3-0. OKC leading their series 2-0. Detroit leading their series 2-0. And Spurs and Minnesota tied up right now 1-1 in their series. Tied up right now in the game, 51-51 in the halftime. We'll see how it goes as it continues. I'll keep an eye on it as I keep going forward, guys. But let's keep it moving, man. I've been talking about this fight, guys. Zayas versus Boots. I'm not going to stop talking about it until there's a reason to stop talking about it. Just like the Snyderverse, just like we started the Snyderverse. And there's a reason why, guys. And it's that, like, shout out to Zayas and his camp. Constantly putting promo videos out there. They're just constantly promoting the event, the fights, their training camps. And not to say that Boots isn't either, because the Boots camp is doing their thing, right? They're not the, but I'm seeing a lot more of Zayas doing more I guess, I don't know if it's a press run, because I will say a lot of the interviews are actually old interviews, kind of like slowly being released out, and they probably do that in a strategic way to kind of keep the fight relevant throughout this, I guess, waiting period till the fight comes in July. But again, I'm seeing a lot more interviews with Zayas than I am seeing Boots. And again, it could just be the algorithms. It knows I'm a Puerto Rican, so they're like, we're just gonna give him the Puerto Rican guys video. So I don't know if that's what that is, but but I will say again, I'm seeing a lot more from I guess you could say the Zayas camp when it comes to promoting this fight, and kind of just showing like behind the scenes of like training and stuff. You're seeing, I did see like some photos of Boots Ennis. I'm going to share some of them now, though, like of what they're both putting out there. Again, this is by far going to be definitely the fight of the year, like hands down. There's no way this isn't. You're talking about two fighters, literally, like just prime fighters, right? Like, and I was about to say two fighters at their peak. Here's the interesting part: Boots, I feel, has met his ceiling, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong, right? I don't want to make it seem like that's 100% true. I could be wrong, but the way I see it, Boots seems to be where he's at. Like the fighter he is the fighter he is, and it's not a bad fighter. I'm just saying. So he is at his peak. When it comes to Zayas, you see this guy continually evolve. So it's like as much as he's like right now the unified champion, youngest unified champion at that, it's just crazy to know that he is where he's at, and as good as he is, knowing that he hasn't even reached his ceiling yet. That's, I guess, where we're at here. But I think that's also what makes this fight such an interesting fight. You got the guy who's essentially the boogeyman, right? As far as Boots Ennis is concerned, right? And actually, hold on, let me bring his thing up too. That's I brought up the wrong one. I just realized. Nope. Nope, not the one. There you go. And again, he is who he is, right? This is the guy that almost every boxer has been dodging because the guy's a beast. Boots Ennis is a beast. Like, make no mistake about it. This guy's a beast, guys. So like, I don't want to make it seem like he's not, or don't think that I'm thinking, I'm playing favorites here. I mean, of course, I have my somewhat of a bias here, right? Because I'm Puerto Rican, so I gotta root at least for the Puerto Rican boxer for sure, hands down. But I'm just as well calling it as I see it, right? Like again, Boots Ennis is who he is, 36-0, 32 knockouts. So, or 31 knockouts, 32 knockouts coming soon. Let's see. Now that's good promo right there, right? He's essentially claiming he's gonna have a knockout here, right? But again, this is, you got to keep in mind, this is the hell kind of training is that? It's not like something for the chin or something. I don't know. It's always cool to see like what these boxers do for training, man. But again, man, these guys are at their, well, Ennis is for sure. They're both at their prime. I feel Ennis is at his ceiling. He is who he is now. He cemented who he is and the fighter you've known him to be. So that's that, right? And again, his team, they're doing their thing too. Again, but look at these guys; they're ready for it. This is the fight of the year, hands down, man. You're looking at two of the best fighters in boxing right now, going head to head. You rarely see that. The last fight, possibly like this, was the Canelo and Crawford fight. This is, I think, beats that though. If I'm be honest, I feel this one takes the cake. Gino says true, right? Yeah, exactly. This one takes the cake. This is going to be the fight of the year, guys. You're looking at two fighters that, again, are the best right now, like in their weight class, right, and in their divisions. And one's obviously unified champion. One was unified champion. So there's a lot on the line here, right? Like the stakes are high for both of these guys, right? And the great part about it is, who win or lose, they both win, right? Like if Ennis loses here, it's not the end of his career, because it's like, you have to understand, one, he moved up in weight for this, right? Like he's going into a different weight class. So even if he lost, that'll probably be like the reason, like the main reason people will like kind of point out is like he's got to adjust maybe to the new weight class, or the weight class he's in, or the division of weight that he's in. But even if he loses, it doesn't prove anything. Like it doesn't change anything. The guy's still one of the greatest fighters out there right now, right? Hence why Zayas wanted to face him, right? Like it's like you're the guy I need to fight because this, this fight for sure cements the argument of whether or not Zayas is too ahead of his time in the sense of like where he is as a champion at his age, like whether or not he belongs there or not, right? Because the excuse has been, and here's the reality though, right? When you're talking about when they'll bring that up about Zayas a lot right now, where they'll be like, oh, he hasn't fought anybody until now. But that's also true about Boots Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of great fighters really that he's fought either, right? And you can say, yeah, because they all dodge him. True. I'm not saying you're wrong there, right? But if that is the truth, that's just, you have to own up to that. And that's also, so they're all to say that the it's an even playing field in that regard, right? They technically both haven't faced the best in their, the best out there, so to speak, right? Like, not to say that none of the fighters that they face aren't good, and that's what I mean. It's an understatement because some of the fighters that they fought, both Ennis and Zayas, in their careers so far, are great fighters. But yeah, like none of them, I guess, unfortunately, have had the opportunity to face a, I guess higher, the what's the word I'm looking for, like the Garcias or the Lomachenkos or the Triple G's or the the Canelos or the Crawfords or the, you know what I'm saying, like. They just haven't had that opportunity yet, but there's no denying that these guys both have talent. So this fight, again, the only reason I'm saying this is going to be the fight of the year is because not many boxers are doing this. Again, when you had Canelo versus Crawford, that's those are like those once in a lifetime kind of moments, right? Like where once in a year type, or I don't know, every couple of years where you finally have two boxers that are elite boxers face each other. And even the reason I say this one kind of surpasses that is because these guys are still in their prime. Like none of them are talking about retirement, right? It was obvious. We all know that Canelo was getting old. You could tell from the way he was fighting. Where you then get Crawford, he's already talking about retirement. So I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like again, it's even though they were both great fighters and it's something we wanted to see, it almost like similar to like when Mayweather and Pacquiao fought, even though I still feel like two things. One, if we're gonna be honest, Pacquiao wasn't really Pacquiao, but like in the sense of like young Pacquiao, he faced the older Pacquiao, but even that, I'm one of those guys that I'm still gonna say it here, and that's that they stole that fight from Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao won that fight between him and Mayweather, and I'll die on that hill. But anyways, again, these guys are both promoting each other. Their fight, the hype around it is real. You're seeing a lot about again the training camp. The Ennis is doing the photos. Zayas is doing these videos. It's just great to watch, man. It's really great to watch this, man. And again, I'm very excited for this fight, man. I'm very excited for this fight. It can't come any sooner, like, you know what I'm saying? But, I want these guys to be at the best shape that they possibly can. I'm praying and hoping that no injuries occur here, that, nothing gets in the way. I want these guys at their best facing each other. I want this fight to be the best fight ever. So that again, win or lose, they both win because we know us as the fans, we won, right? Like we got to see a good fight. We got to see some of the best fighters face each other. That's what we want in boxing, and this fight is that kind of fight. This is the kind of fight that brings people back to boxing, because, this is what we're getting again, champions fighting champions, not just, champions ducking other, great fighters just to keep their records clean or, waiting for fighters to get old, just, like things like that nonsense, just, to keep the record clean. None of that. No, it's like two of the best facing off each other, belts on the line for one, or, as far as losing them, gaining belts for the other. But again, win or lose, they both win, I think, because again, I think for sure what I'm hoping and wishing, I know we're going to get it. I say I hope and I wish, or like I hope that this is what we get, and I know that's what we're getting. We're going to get these two top prime fighters at the fighting at the best of their capacity, you know, giving it all they got, and true technique, true form, true boxing at its best. Um, and again, win or lose, they both win because it's like, you know, like, oh no, you faced a tough opponent. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever loses, that's still the thing. It's like, no, you faced a tough opponent, but you also gave it, you know, you went the distance, you know, like let's just say that, right? Like, you know, if it goes to 12 rounds, and again, who knows? If it doesn't go to 12 rounds, that'll be a shocker to me, you know, like but again, I wouldn't be mad to see it. But in that case, obviously I'm gonna root for my boy to get the knockout, right? Like I'm gonna root for Zayas to get that knockout, you know. But either way, it's gonna be a great fight, guys. Really great fight. Zayas versus Boots. I believe it's July 16th, if I'm correct. You know, is that what it said on the? You know, just guess here, right? I think we got it here on the no, June 27th. I'm sorry, guys. July 16th. What's July 16th? I don't know what July 16th is. June 27th, guys. June 27th. I don't know where I got July 16th from. June 27th, guys. That's where we're at. I mean, that's where we're waiting. We're literally a month and a half from now, guys. So definitely excited for it, man. What do we have next here? Obviously, yeah, the Rousey and Corona fight, guys. Still interested in that one. That one's coming down the pike. I gotta see if they fill. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this update to come through, but I don't think I got it. I don't know if they got the filler for that fight that they the fighters that they lost for that fight, or at least that one fighter that can't fight. So I don't know if that means that his opponent, now they're looking for someone else for him to fight. I don't know if that's what happens here, or if it's just another fight card. And let me say that too about the Zayas versus Boots. That fight card again. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the fight card. Hold on, before I go on, the fight card itself, honestly, worth the watch, guys. You know, again, some of the best fighters fighting in that fight card. Where do I have it here? Boom. And let me just bring it up one more time before we forget. Where's it at? Oh man, did I lose it already? Oh no, here we go. Boom. Let me bring up that fight card again, guys. This is you don't get much fight cards like this, right? You know, some fight cards, you know, are good, but this one right here, guys. I mean, main event, obviously Zayas versus Boots, but the co-main, guys, for all you Vargas fans out there and Mills fans, Emiliano Vargas versus Mills. I mean, come on. You know, there's no way we're not excited for that, guys, right? And then if that wasn't enough, like if that wasn't like, hey, like that's as good as they can do, nah. We'll give you another one. Ben Whitaker versus Rivera, dude. You know, guys, Emiliano versus Bryce Mills. Like, what? In this same fight card? Ben Whitaker versus Richard Rivera in this same fight card? We're getting this is it, guys. It's like this is shout out to the Zone, shout out to Top Rank Boxing for putting on this just great fight card. You know, again, boxing is back, guys. Boxing is back. Okay, now look again. Let's just. I digress. But I have to mention that, right? Like I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't mention that, you know, because it's a very. Not only is that do I believe that Boots versus Ennis or Boots versus Zayas is or Zayas versus Boots is the best fight we're going to see all year. It's going to be the fight of the year. Not only do I believe that, but even that fight card might be one of the best fight cards of the year. Again, Emiliano Vargas, Bryce Mills, Ben Whitaker, Richard Rivera. I mean, it's, you know, it doesn't get better than that, guys. And that's that. We don't even know who the prelims are yet. Those are like, again, that's co-main and then like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't even know what the prelim fights are, you know? So if it's any indicator of what Zayas' last fight was, I imagine they're going to bring some good boxers because the prelims for Prezai's last fight was some really good fighters that fought that day. Was that oh yeah. Did they find a fight to fill in for? Oops, where'd it go? Oh, there you go. Larkin fight. I'm not so sure if this. I'm not sure if they filled it up yet. I mean, again, I last I reported on this, it was okay. So boom, they did find a replacement for Lawrence. So yeah, Jason Jackson stayed on the card and now is fighting. Oh, Jefferson Creighton. Okay. So MVP officially booked Jackson versus Jefferson for May 16th. Literally 2 weeks from, not even a week from now, guys. On the Rousey Crown on Netflix card after Larkin pulled out with the knee injury. Yeah. He's okay. So yeah, Creighton right now is welterweight at 12 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, and hasn't lost since 2021. So this is a legit lower name, short notice replacement. Okay. Jackson remains on the main undercard as a former Bellator welterweight champ. Yep. Okay. And he's been publicly thanking Creighton for stepping in so he could stay on the Netflix debut show. That's great, man. No, I'm glad they found somebody for him. Yeah, that actually should be an interesting fight in itself. But yeah, again, we got May 16th. This fight's coming out, guys. I'm excited for it. You know, even with this replacement fight, it should be good. I'm gonna look into more of these Creighton fights. I want to say I saw a few, maybe like 1 or 2 of his fights, but I'm gonna have to look more into his fights. Obviously, I feel like I'm gonna still give Jackson the edge, but I'm not gonna. I can't really say because I don't know. I can't recall Creighton. When's the last time I saw Creighton fight? So, but anyways, May 16th, guys. Make sure you tune into that. You know, Rousey versus Carano, MVP, most valuable production fight card for MMA on Netflix, May 16th, guys. Definitely worth the watch. Let's keep this moving, guys. Let's keep this moving. Last on Monday, I brought up some new updates with this with the whole Chicago police officers. They got shot. Obviously, one passed away, which was the Bartholomew. Officer what was his name? Bartholomew. Mine is drawing a blank right now. Bartholomew, I'm just gonna bring up the footage that I was trying to find anyways because low-key I know that they had today was like I guess they had the not the funeral, like the visitation, I think. I don't know if they did the funeral today. But there was like videos on it on I saw on YouTube. Like shorts. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, so Lions, remember at funeral. Oh no, so yeah, the funeral service was today. That's what it was. It was today. See if I could just find like a short reel about it. I don't want to go into these long-winded ones. Here we go. That's a good short. Just again, that sad story, guys. Again, it's crazy how it happened. While I play this, I'm gonna see if I can find see if there's any more updates because last I saw they were still trying to do an investigation on I guess how again this guy got the gun. I told you maybe 2 weeks ago what I heard from the grapevine, but officially, like as far as statements are concerned, they're still investigating it.
What glory endures immovable on earth.
So
all things are feebler than shadows, all more elusive than dreams. In a single moment, all are supplanted by death. In the light of Christ, of your countenance, and the sweetness of your comeliness, rest the one you have taken like a true friend of mankind.
So rest in peace to the officer, John Bartholomew. Obviously, we're still praying for Nelson Crespo for his recovery. Like I said, last we heard was that he is making, there are some signs of improvement. We still have yet to see anything else come out of that. But as far as, like I said, as the story goes so far, from what I've seen, is that the arrest records show that 2 officers found the body, stained cash in Talley's pockets, and blood in his shoes and pants, but no gun. So they're still investigating again how the guy got the gun. But the Alfonso Talley guy is charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and numerous additional felony counts. And then the other guy, who was essentially part of the robbery, he's obviously not going to be charged for the hospital shooting, but obviously, apparently he is. Oh, wait a minute. It was a female. Oh, no. This was part of the gun. This is what this was. Okay. Olivia Burgos was how the guy got the gun, his gun, like the gun that he shot with, was apparently the gun was through her. So let's see. Burgos is not charged in the hospital shooting, but she is charged federally with making a material false statement in the firearm acquisition. Right. So if I'm correct, somewhere I read that she gave like this bogus testimony about how she came to getting the gun and getting the gun. And that's why they're charging her with that. Second firearm unresolved. The Tribune reports another firearm acquired March 30th remains unaccounted for, separate from the Glock 29 tied to the hospital shooting. So yeah, visitation was held yesterday. Funeral services were today. There's plenty of funeral coverage there, dude. You want to see it? The second guy who was charged for from the robbery part of things was Jaron Tate. He was charged with armed robbery, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated battery charges. So, I mean, these guys are screwed for sure, rightfully so. Again, and as far as that telling guy, throw the book at that guy. That's just, again, it's like I said, it's like I was telling Rob the last time he was here. It's like, once you're caught up, you're caught up, man. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't the way I see it is you're essentially, you're shooting someone, not just innocent, right? But like, even if let me just even kind of bring perspective here. Like, even if it was like just on street level stuff, right? Like, let's just say you're a gangbanger, right? And I'm not, and so I know that this could be said about both people, right? Like whether it's the real life situation of a police officer or the analogy I'm using here with the whole gangbanging thing. But there's no way you can't tell me, and that I'm alone on this, and that's that. There's nothing cool about seeing, let's just say, rival gang shoot another rival gang guy who wasn't even like, let's just say when he had nothing to do with whatever happened in your life. You just happened to be a rival gang member. I would have, let's just say, I don't know, wife, kids, mom, or something. I don't know. And then he just gets shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you can tell me that part of you hates that stuff because like, man, that's not, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even see it coming. He probably, he had no idea, that this was going to happen. He probably had nothing to do with whatever beef did exist. It's just happened to be wearing the wrong colors or, just happened to be affiliated with the wrong people. And because of that, by affiliation, you got shot. That's how I see this. Like, you didn't even, and not that I'm okay with you shooting the officers coming to arrest you at the robbery, but, or for the robbery, but with the fact that, like, you didn't even shoot those guys. You shot the guys that were just essentially just watching over you while you were getting taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Because, you decided to swallow up whatever drugs you had, if that was even true. And I don't even know if that came out to be true or not yet. But anyways, I digress. So Talley's detention hearing, prosecutor allegations, and ongoing questions about how the firearm entered the hospital. Let's see. So there might be something actually here. Let's see. Oh, come on, you guys don't make me pay for this crap. Is there a way to get out of this? Oh, screw you guys. No, I'm not gonna assign to you guys. Is there a way to skip this? No. Okay, never mind. I was gonna try and read what that says. Reported the wounded officer's condition. Oh no, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, okay, so what's happening? I'm looking at a bunch of well, that's not cool. Okay. So let's see. Let me see. Any updates as to how he had a firearm? Yeah, for some reason I'm here trying. They gave me a link to an article, but when I click on the article, I have to be subscribed to the Chicago Tribune. I'm not about to do all that. So let's see if I can get a general report here. The news reporting still does not have a definitive official chain of custody from the Indiana buyer to Tully, but it adds detail on the two leading pieces: the suspected straw purchase and the theory that Talley concealed the gun on his body through searches. Okay, right. Because that's the whole thing, right? The idea is like, the gun was on him, obviously. While he was being searched. Okay, so how the firearm moved from the Indiana purchase to Tully, whether David Martinez has been located, and whether investigators have clarified how it got into the hospital. Wait, who's David Martinez? Okay, now I'm missing something. See? Technology at its finest. Okay. Okay, let's see. So no definitive answers yet. The latest reporting still says investigators have not publicly explained exactly how the gun got from the Indiana purchase chain to Alfonso Talley or how it made it into the Swedish hospital. Okay. What is known is Olivia Burgos allegedly bought the suspected 10mm Glock at Range USA in Maryville, Indiana on May 27, 2024. And federal prosecutors say she admitted buying it for her boyfriend. Right. Okay. So this is what I already knew. But, let me read it in case you guys don't know. Who gave her the money, but the federal charges do not identify that boyfriend or explain how the gun reached Talley. On the hospital entry question, CBS reports arrest records show officers searched Talley after the Family Dollar robbery. Oh, that's what it was. I think I kept saying gas station robbery. It was a Family Dollar robbery. Jesus. Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up. And found blood-stained cash and blood on his shoes and pants, but no gun. CBS also reports Swedish hospital said Talley was wounded on arrival, and former CPD First Deputy Superintendent Anthony Riccio, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm butchering it probably, explained that officers can search pockets, belts, socks, legs, shoes, and shoes contents, but cannot search private areas without probable cause, a judge's approval, and medical supervision. Okay, so the current theory is still body concealment, but it is not confirmed. So again, one theory that I heard was that the guy's so fat that it was like hiding under the belly fat, and that's where he had it hidden. So apparently that's might still be true. FOP President John Catanzara told CBS nobody knows what happened with that gun, adding that nobody knows whether it was hidden in a fold of skin or inside Talley's body. So that's the fold of skin that I've heard, but it could be that it was hiding possibly in his ass or something. Bottom line, they have traced the gun purchase to Burgos, but they still have not publicly closed the gap between Burgos, the unnamed boyfriend David Martinez thread, Talley's possession, and how the gun passed searches in the hospital. So that's what's crazy. That is also crazy. So again, praying for Nelson Crespo. Condolences to Bartholomew's family. And again, praying for all you police officers out there, man, that are actually trying to do your job, and unfortunately have to deal with these kinds of circumstances, All right. on to the last and final thing, guys. It seems like we do have kind of some time to talk about this, apparently. I wasn't sure we would. But let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit. There has been some slight updates to the Iran war front, apparently. Where did it go? I know I had them here somewhere. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. Nope, not what I was looking for. Here we are. Boom. Okay. All right. So apparently the ceasefire still nominally is holding, but a fresh exchange of fire and U.S. retaliatory strikes raise near-term break risk. Strike alert. New York Times live updates report that the U.S. struck Iranian military installations after strikes on American ships during an exchange of fire in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump said the ceasefire remains in effect. Trump insisted the ceasefire is still open still on despite the Hormuz exchange, while warning Iran to sign the U.S. proposal quickly. The latest reported exchange of fire occurred in and around the Strait of Hormuz, with U.S. strikes framed as a response to attacks on U.S. ships. The UAE reported its air defenses were actively engaging in a missile and drone attack and warned residents not to approach debris fragments. Ceasefire framework is being stress tested in real time. A Hormuz fireflight plus U.S. retaliatory strikes increases the odds of rapid escalation absent a quick political deal. So that was a couple hours ago. Let me see. This thing keeps like updating. So almost by the hour, it seems, So let me just make sure we're not missing anything as of right now. Oh. Okay, there you go. But yeah, so what it looks like, it looks like Trump is still trying to get the deal going forward, is what it looks like. But this is, I believe, if I remember correctly, so yeah, okay. So from what I caught this morning, things have changed apparently. So today was the biggest single day escalation since the shooting stopped. Iran is now openly calling the situation a nominal ceasefire, not a real one. Iran's Foreign Ministry said the U.S. has crossed the point of no return after last night's exchange of fire. What happened in the Strait from Thursday night into Friday, both sides are blaming each other for who shot first. Classic fog of war. U.S. version. Iranian forces fired missiles, drones, and fast attack boats at 3 U.S. Navy destroyers. The USS Truxtun, USS Rafael Peralta, and USS Mason, transiting the strait. None were hit. U.S. struck back in self-defense, hitting Bahman port on Qasem Island, a target in Bandar Abbas, and the Bandar Kargan naval checkpoint. Iran's version, the U.S. fired first on an Iranian oil tanker and coastal areas, and Iran responded by targeting U.S. warships. Iran reports 10 sailors wounded, 5 missing. Friday follow-up, CENTCOM disabled and fired on 2 more Iranian-flagged oil tankers trying to dock at Iranian ports in violation of the blockade. Trump's response, they trifled with us today. We blew them away. He insists the ceasefire is still in effect, but warned Iran would face a lot of pain if they don't take the deal. This is the other major story running in parallel today. Apparently, Secretary of State Rubio said this morning he expected Iran to respond to the latest U.S. peace proposal by the end of the day today. As of tonight, Trump told CNN he's expecting a letter supposedly tonight. Iran's foreign ministry confirmed the proposal is under review and said an answer will come once a final decision is reached. No commitment on timing. The core sticking points haven't changed. The U.S. wants full nuclear abandonment. Iran wants sovereignty over the strait and full sanctions relief. So yeah, that's, like I said, it's funny to see, but anyways, all right, let's see. So a separate but important detail from ISW's May 7th report, satellite imagery from April 2022 shows Iran partially sealed 2 tunnel entrances at the Mount Kolan Gaz law facility near Natanz with earthen material. Analysts read this as Iran hiding or protecting enrichment assets, actively working around visibility while negotiations are ongoing. Which, again, this is where, like I said, if they keep fucking around or keep, and excuse my language, but it's kind of upsetting because it's like, man, like, instead of just, playing nice, you know what I'm saying? Just you don't need it, guys. You really don't. But anyways, and I'll be honest, like if you disagree with me and you have your points, make it be known. Because I've kind of heard them all, and I'm telling you, nothing that I've heard separate, are opposite of the argument of why they should be able to have nuclear capabilities. Honestly, they're not good arguments. But again, I'm not going to waste my time with that just yet because I'm going to just want to read through this right quick. Now, this is on a different. I say this is different because essentially it is different, but Iran definitely, I guess, is trying to lump this into the negotiations, right? So apparently, they're trying to make the Lebanon Northern Front battle part of their negotiations. I don't think that's going to work, but let's see. IDF confirmed killing 85 plus Hezbollah fighters and striking 180 plus Hezbollah sites in Lebanon in this past week alone, the highest rate since the April ceasefire. 5 Lebanese civilians were also killed in southern strikes today, per Lebanese officials. So the ceasefire is being held together by Trump's insistence that it still exists. Both sides have now fired on each other multiple times. Iran calling it nominal is significant language. The ball is now officially in Iran's court on the peace proposal, with Trump expecting a response tonight. If Iran's answer is a rejection or stall, expect a serious conversation about resuming full strikes as early as this weekend, which, Trump definitely made that clear that if they don't, I guess, fall in line, and I say fall in line, I don't want to make it seem like, but essentially if they don't agree to this, it's going to be on them. I'll just say that, I'd like to get more details about the proposal. I don't know if it's out there. Maybe there is, maybe there is, but I'll wait for it to. Let's see. Is there? Is there any way to know exactly what was in Trump's peace proposal? So now you guys are seeing in real time how I look these things up, which again, I always encourage you guys to do the same, right? So apparently we don't really know exactly, but it's good news. Quite a bit has leaked out. So apparently leaks are good. I guess they're sometimes good, yeah. Here's everything known about the actual content of the U.S. proposal and how it stacks up against Iran's counter. Okay, so the working document is a 4.1-page memorandum of understanding being drafted by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. The full text hasn't been officially released, but reporting from Axios, Times of Israel, and Al Jazeera have mapped out the core terms. Iran commits to a complete moratorium on all uranium enrichment for at least 12 years. At the end of that period, Iran would be allowed to enrich only to 3.67% for civilian use, far below weapons grade, matching the old 2015 JCPOA level. Iran commits permanently to never seeking a nuclear weapon. Iran must ship its entire stockpile of highly enriched uranium out of the country. That's 400 plus kilograms of near weapons grade material, which is the thorniest single issue. Iran must shut down underground nuclear facilities, Fordow specifically. Iran submits to enhance IAEA inspections, including SLAP no-notice inspections. Automatic penalties if Iran violates in term, which I think is fair. Both the U.S. naval blockade in Iranian ports and Iran's blockade on the strait are lifted within 30 days of signing, and the waterway reopens to all international shipping. Economic relief for Iran. U.S. gradually lifts major sanctions on Iran. Billions in frozen Iranian assets released. Specific dollar amounts not publicly confirmed yet, though. Structure of the deal. The MOU itself is just a framework. It formally ends the war and starts a 30-day negotiation clock for the detailed final agreement. The MOU doesn't resolve everything up front. The full missile program, limits, and proxy group restrictions would be hashed out in that 30-day follow-on period. Notably, Iran's missile arsenal and support for groups like Hezbollah are not explicitly addressed in the MOU itself, which is a significant gap Iranians hardliners have exploited. Like I said, obviously they want to lump that into the deal. So, yeah, essentially, I guess for those who don't know what Iran's, counter proposal was prior to this one, I guess, just to clarify, end the war first, deal with nukes later. That's what they want. Which again, that's a ridiculous ask. Iran wants to decouple the two tracks. U.S. withdraws military forces from the region. That's not going to happen. U.S. and Israel halt all operations in Lebanon. Sorry, guys. Full sanctions lifted, frozen assets return, plus war reparations. So they're getting kind of partially of that, I would say, from what I heard, from what it looks like in the top proposal up top. So at least that's something they're getting that they want. Iran maintains sovereignty over the strait. That's not happening, including the right to charge tolls. No, that's definitely not happening, right? And nuclear talks happen separately. No, that's obviously not happening. So, and then Trump rejected that version forward. So, okay. All right, cool. So that's where that stands, guys. Again, I like take this olive branch if I was Iran, again, like, let's just be clear here, and not that I want this, right? But let's just be clear here. If the U.S. wanted to, if Israel wanted to, and I just say that because they were part of that operation, right? As far as the air strikes are concerned, right? Although now I'm going to assume that they're focused on Hezbollah right now. So, but I say that to say that even if we really wanted to, right? If America really wanted to go in and attack Iran full on invasion, they really don't stand a chance. Like it's like, do they really want another Iraq situation or Afghanistan situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are gonna lose. Like, you lose. Like, you will lose. I think you already lost. You know what I'm saying? But like, it could be much worse. This is what I need people to understand who don't understand. It's like, this really could be worse, right? And I say that, majority for Iran, it could be worse in the sense of even for let's say if it became even boots on the ground kind of invasion, right? Because, certain operations have to take place, right? Then obviously there will be casualties, I imagine. And that's what obviously we don't want, right? Not for, at least for our own, for sure, but I don't even, what I don't like about that is because then that really puts civilians at risk, right? So I don't like that, but, so I say that to say that, believe me when I say, and I know that they need to know this. They probably won't admit it because they have to save face, right? But the reality is bro, you're being extended an olive branch here. This is as good as it gets for you. You got essentially a slap on the hand, right? No more nuclear weapons, right? No more enriching nuclear power to weapons grade level, right? They're still letting them actually enrich uranium, right? But at a percentage that needs to be, held. And again, obviously, with oversight and inspections without you even knowing from time to time, so that we can actually make sure that you guys are being honest. And yeah, like just give up the ghost already. You know what I'm saying? Like, be happy that regime change, right? As far as like you guys no longer existing, isn't like, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, because like I'll be honest, my heart is for the Iranian people. I don't really care for the IRGC, right? Like, I don't care. Up until this point, they proved to be scumbags, right? Like, if I'm gonna be honest, you kill innocent people that are just protesting against you and your regime and your people in power. That's sorry. That's just you've succumbed to the lowest of the lows, right? And then don't even get me started on like some of the sick policies that do exist out there, that are just kind of crazy. That's there for you to like know. Like, I'm not just making this stuff up, but I'm not here to discuss all that. Oh, wow. I never changed this. I'm just realizing this now. Wow. That's weird. I thought I did. But again, whole point is be grateful that there isn't an official regime change. You're still in power. All that's really being asked of you is that change your own posture, and structure and your like direction. And if you do that, right, you'll get your frozen assets back. You'll get this, you'll get that. Will help. Give you some kind of form of reparation to help you out. With what's going on. Saying like, this is what I'm saying. Like, man, make no mistake, this could be a lot different, like a lot worse. For you guys, like, take the L. Like, you don't need a bigger L than what you guys already have. And let and do right by the people that you govern, all the people, right? And that essentially that's all that you need to do. Like, that's all you need to do. Just agree to this peace proposal, man. Just agree to it. Like, just wake up and smell the coffee. Like, there's no you winning this war. This is you just prolonging the inevitable. If you, for whatever reason, decided to go that route, if they decide to go that route, but like, don't, man, just don't. Like, nobody wants this. Nobody wants this, and not because anybody believes you're the good guys. I'm sure there's people out there that have this weird loyalty to you. But most people don't think you're the good guys here. You're not. It's not like you're. Saying, yeah, you're not the good guys here. Nobody like, So if you survive this, you're not really missed. Okay. By an overwhelming majority, right? The only people that are probably moved by the events that have occurred to what you have to say or do is it's again the weird remnant few of those that are can't teach a no dog new tricks type of people, I guess. But other than that, man, like, if you stay or don't, it doesn't matter to nobody. But if you stay, the least you can do, if you really are trying to stay, is play nice. Just do what's expected. Do what we want. Do what people want. It's not just what America wants or just what the president. It's what we all want. So this is what we all want. Like, not just the U.S. It's even the Gulf nations around you. Yes, Israel. Yes, like, and it's like, dude, just stop with your craziness. Like, hey, you don't need a nuclear weapon. I've said this before. You guys can look it up. There's plenty of perfect, countries out there that do just fine economically and like I said, with their GDP growth and all that stuff, without nuclear weapons, some without even a military. So So yeah, guys, I don't know. Like I said, it's like I hope they do sign that proposal, the peace proposal. I hope they wake up and smell the coffee. Stop trying to you don't control the Strait of Hormuz. Like, if there's anything that kind of does bother me here, but and this is why I said, but this is why our military will never leave that region. And it's like, this is where it's like, where's the rest of the world, right? That's truly affected by this, right? Because the reality is we don't really use the oil out there, right? Like, that's not our oil. Like, I think like a very minute a percentage to maybe even none of oil comes from that region to us, right? So what does bother me about the whole Strait of Hormuz situation is that somehow we're the ones footing the bill, right? In a sense, right? Like, but I guess that's heavy as the crown, right? You're the global hegemon, so to speak, or one of the global hegemons, maybe at this point, the way there's like somewhat of a shift of influence in the globe, but yeah, that's one thing that does get to me. It's like, where are the Gulf states with this? Like, why don't you guys just be more aggressive, with this stuff and have more fight in you to truly like take ownership of that region? Like, why do we have to show up to, like, but it is what it is. They ask for our help, we're there. It is what it is. Like, and like I said before, like that whole Abraham Accords alliance thing that's kind of being forged and built and in real time along with the United States, it's you're kind of seeing, you saw it manifest here. This is what this was, and this is why I get, I always tell people, like, you're kind of fooling yourself if you think this is just about Israel. Like, it's not just about Israel. And then, frankly, to be honest with you, it's kind of not just about Iran either. But that's like I said before, that's going deeper into things, and unfortunately I don't have that kind of time, and maybe I gotta dedicate a whole podcast episode to actually like diving deep into the connections between Iran's alliances and stuff like that. But yeah, whole point is like, for the sake of just peace, for the sake of like, life, right? Just, I hope they sign this peace proposal. Again, I think America or US is moving in good faith here. Again, because if we really wanted to, if the United States really wanted to, like, trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Like, I take Trump's word for it when he says, like, if you thought it was bad, like, you haven't seen bad yet, as far as like strikes are concerned. And that's for sure true, but like, again, I'm praying and hoping it doesn't go there. I don't want it to go there. I'd rather, and again, this is where I'm like, just kind of upset, like, quit your posturing. You guys can literally not exist and nobody would care. Like, as far as the IRGC is concerned and that governmental power, right? The fact that you still do, like, take note of that, right? And count your blessings and just, do right by your people, period. And do right by the region, like, in the sense of like, stop with the terror proxies, stop with, start trying to enrich your uranium and get nuclear power. Like, just be nice, play nice. That's all. And then hopefully we can get back to just getting along somehow, and I don't know, man. Hopefully you guys come to realize, like, like, you guys could be a great nation if you guys just focus on the right things, and I'm not, here's the crazy part. I'm not even telling you that you have to change necessarily your, I don't know, your complete ideology. I will say there's, again, policy-wise, you guys do have some weird things going on over there that you try and justify through your ideology, but nonetheless, again, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying you can just, again, look at it. I always tell people, like, you want to look at just look at the surrounding nations in that region that aren't necessarily, again, war driven. They're not even militaristic driven, but they do well for themselves. And look, every place has their problems, right? Like, I'm not saying that these are perfect paradises, but or perfect people for that matter. I'm not saying that either, right? Like, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying either, right? Everybody has had their hand in the pot, in a dirty pot or dirty whatever. Every country, every leader, there's a certain stain, right, so to speak. Everybody has their version of it. I'll put it like that, right? Like, I don't want to say it's all the same, but everyone has their version of it. So again, I'm not saying that everything. Look at the surrounding Gulf states, like they're perfect. No, I'm not saying that either. But I'm just saying you can still do well for yourself and be a force in the world without military power, right? I mean, you see me talking about the Paramount WB deal, and what are the names you're hearing in the background? Saudi Arabia, the Saudi power there, right? They're clearly trying to have a foothold, or like they want to have their mark in media apparatus, right? They feel they have something to say and something to put out there, and I'm cool. I'm all for it, because at least that's a peaceful way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, compared to like forcefully physically doing it, imposing yourself. For me, I'm all for, and it's not that I agree with it, but I'm just saying, like, better it is to have everybody be able to like freely share and speak their mind, their opinion, their ideals, their whatever, all that stuff, and then we can all discuss it after the fact, than to censor and shut down people and keep, like, I don't like that, so no, for me it's like, hey, so if the Saudis, get them in, and like I said, for me, they're more in line with the deal that I'm looking for anyway. So, so we'll see. Again, we'll see where this goes. I pray, Lord, please, 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 in the name of Jesus, peace, let peace prevail. Let calm our heads, and I don't know. But then again, overall, your will be done, right? So who am I, right? Because I think that's another piece we're missing here sometimes. Sometimes oh, Gina, you kept messaging me on Facebook. I'm not bad. I didn't see this. Okay. Hashtag restore, my guy. Review it. Just do it for the DC. Yeah. At least you could tell it straight. No, for sure, man. That's all we're trying to do here. But anyways, so yeah, I pray, Lord, that peace is on the horizon, and that I can wake up tomorrow morning knowing that that's kind of working towards a better direction, and we're going in a better direction there. But anyways, that's it, guys. Look at that. Kind of very, very rarely do I get to like finish this in a decent amount of time. but here we are. So let's be grateful. On a little bit over 2 hours, but we got a lot. We discussed a lot. We discussed a lot of things, so that's good. Again, guys, let me just say this though. I will end it on this though, because I feel like this is really where I'm at with it. Mortal Kombat. Go watch that movie. It's a great movie. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Keep going at it, guys. Online every day. Let's talk about it. Zach, keep doing your thing. Keep posting. Keep posting. Keep us alive. And Diaz versus Boots right around the corner. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano right around the corner. Right? The NBA playoffs is lit. And hopefully there's peace in the Middle East. Yeah. But anyways, that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys who tuned in and watched. I appreciate those that were in the comment sections engaging with me. I appreciate the interactions, guys. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to share, make sure to follow, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, X, IG, wherever you're watching from, like it, share it. And if you're not following, if you're not subscribed in whatever apparatus of how you're watching me, just make sure you do so. And if you're, watching this on the rerun aspect of it, I appreciate you too. Again, anything you agree with or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. I will get back to you on it, I promise. And because this is what the Chop Shop's all about. It's not just, it doesn't just have to be what I think or what I say. It's really more about, what is the conversation collectively, right? And then can we, agree to disagree? Can we actually both agree, come to like same, this, just like whatever, all that, again, this is what it's all about. So again, appreciate you guys. And make sure to also listen to my music on all streaming platforms of Divino Vega. Oh, and also the Chop Shop is now officially on Spotify. I just posted up my first the Michael movie review. I'm going to be posting some more videos, and that are pretty much going to be like snippets, which I do with YouTube and everything else. Of these larger lives that I separate them from the different talking points. You can now find it on Spotify now, the Chop Shop, and soon should be on Apple Podcasts as well. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Again, appreciate you guys so much. It's because of you guys that keep tuning in and keep engaging with me and keep, sharing this. So why do I keep doing this? I like talking. I like talking and discussing things with people. And from various things. This is just who I am, and so I figure, why not do this on a live stream and get more engaged and more acquainted with you guys, right? And also going forward, again, I'm going to keep trying to do this more frequently. I was busy Wednesday, but again, the days are still going to try. I'm still trying to make it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I appreciate you guys that have been able to still kind of follow through with me, even though I have, again, my apologies for not being able to be as consistent as I want to be. But that's still the goal. That's still the plan. So that way we can have actually a little bit more discussions rather than kind of just lump sumping all these talking conversation or talking points all into one live stream where we can actually kind of just dig deeper into some things and maybe even get more personal with some things, right? It's like that is one thing I want to get more into as well, is like more life, also just life stuff, right? Like there's more to life than just movies, like the movie talks, the games, the sports, the news stuff. How about just personal life, right? Like, work and relationships and, food, dieting, all that stuff, right? Like let's get into those kind of discussions too. I'd like to get into those kind of discussions too, guys. So again, if there's something you'd like for me to discuss, let me know in the comment section, guys. That being said, I appreciate you guys again tuning in. This is Divino Vega. This is the Chop Shop. We are out of here. Much love. God bless.
New era niggas just scream out gang gang. My era niggas outside that gang bang. Old enough to know niggas that made it onto gangland. I don't say that to grandstand, I'm just spitting the facts, man. New rappers too busy just making sing-alongs. My raps will have it going savage like the Viacom. You don't want the smoke, homie, then your weed is strong. Good to see you smoke along to that Cheech and Chong. Me and my team, we on the front line. Steady putting in work, homie, it's always crunch time. Hard times produce me, dog. This ain't a movie, it ain't WWE. When I mention the bloodline, homie, I want mine, that's why I move different. Y'all too laxy daisy, I keep myself disciplined. Repetition on repetition, training is rigorous. Only way to survive the streets that's dangerous and vigorous. Behavior villainous, leave no traces of witnesses. Moment of silence for the taking of all our innocence. Now back to business, somewhat of a practitioner, cause there's no shortcuts in life, no pills that make you limitless. That's ridiculous, far set from reality, like who's that's licorice. Frame of thought is insanity, causing calamity if you actually watching and listening. Home to catching L's from the dudes that started visiting. How you missing it? Losing profits and dividends. The way your boys been cooking, they need to give me a Michelin. The bliss is ignorance, they don't like to mention them. They say we don't mention the bodies that's in Lake Michigan. Fucking hypocrites, I separate from the fakes. Run with a pride of lines, identify all the stakes. Hubris as they folly and catch on other mistakes. Matter of time before they're just another body that's in the lake. Navigate these troubled waters, won't choose my fate. My vision is to ambition like Alexander the Great. Say there's much on my plate, but I carry my weight, figuratively and literally, for all those who can relate. I never break, you never get me to fold, you never get me to leave. Chicago is still my home, but I carry my heat. This windy city is cold. Valentine's Day massacre, but was it really Capone? Face blown out of proportion, the different views of contortion. Use best proceed with precaution before you lie dead in a coffin. It's not a threat, that's a promise. Best quit talking your nonsense. Your body could end up missing. Got your family claiming we lost them. Can't find them. Bad time and he's flatlining. Good riddance, bit it negative to mankind. And I'm like Jack Reacher, the equalizer, John Wick, Jason Bourne, the accountant. Either one, you could take your pick. The damage I could do with my side weapon. John Wick with my P40 Smith & Wesson. Opposition lightweight, so I'm not threatened. I'm just flattered by the hate that they keep sending. It's really easy talk that rah-rah on the internet. There's work to Zaza, I heard y'all ain't got your fingers wet. Don't get your cherry pop by the very op. We bust the real ones, got the heavy guap, you just carry prop. Bunch of these gangsters claim to be hard to the core, but they really not like women that claim to be faithful. But they really thought, act like they down, but when shit goes down, they call the city cops. Same fools think they know a lot, no dilly squad. Tired of all of this fake shit, with fake asses and fake tits. They fake smiles, make fake lips. Picasso looking with their facelift. What I call the good replacement, with the so-called real are the fakest. So the fakest niggas are the greatest. What was common sense no longer makes sense. What was common sense is now rare sense. What was funny then is now flagrant. Living in your thoughts, I don't pay rent. I take my time, you lack patience. Then your blood drip on the pavement. With a headshot, got your brainless. After getting hit with that stainless, kill instinct, call me Craven.